With soaring petrol prices being seen across the country, the South Australian Premier wants the federal government to step in and cut the amount of fuel excise it collects. Reporter Rory McLaren joins me now from Adelaide. Rory, Stephen Marshall has written to Josh Frydenberg asking for help.
He has, Lara, and with the federal budget little more than a fortnight away, Stephen Marshall argues it provides an opportunity for the Commonwealth to cut the amount of excise that it collects to provide some hip pocket relief to motorists. Right around the country, petrol at the moment is sitting per litre at about $2 a litre here in Adelaide. Many retailers are selling for $2.20 a litre, and some analysts expect that $2.10 a litre could very well become the new norm. Of course, it's war in Europe and Russia's invasion of Ukraine that has had a major impact on global oil prices, and that has also contributed to the surge that we are seeing in prices at the bowser. Now, for some context, of course, the fuel excise that the federal government collects is just above 44 cents a litre. So the Premier, Stephen Marshall here, he argues that could give the opportunity for the federal government to provide that relief. Now, some context as well. Premier Stephen Marshall, he goes to a state election next Saturday, and part of his election pitch throughout this campaign has been around the cost of living reductions that his government has rolled out since taking office in 2018. Now, part of that has also included the introduction of real-time fuel pricing to South Australia for the very first time. So let's take a little listen to what Stephen Marshall had to say earlier today about his letter to Josh Frydenberg.
The reality is that Josh Frydenberg is now putting the final touches on the upcoming federal budget. We're encouraging him to provide some relief to motorists in South Australia. They're really feeling it in their hip pocket at the moment. We're going to do our part here in South Australia with the continuation of the real-time fuel price scheme. That's already delivered savings to motorists, but what we really need is some relief at the federal level with regards to that excise. It doesn't need to be permanent, but while we're in this elevated fuel price situation, we'd really love to see some relief coming from the federal government.
As for Stephen Marshall's political opponent, State Labor leader Peter Malinauskas, he argues that it's low and fixed income earners who will be hit hardest by prolonged periods of high petrol prices. That's why he's proposing to double the South Australian cost of living concession for a year. Now, as for Prime Minister Scott Morrison, he was asked about his plans for fuel excise. He said the current variation in fuel prices has nothing to do with excise, but wait to see what he does in the budget later this month.
Rory, thanks so much.